Let's take a look at how the doctors who were behind the blast in Red Fort were in fact radicalized, how they in fact carried out with a radicalization that extends from online and also meeting directly with their handlers. The revelations in the 10th November Delhi Red Fort blast case probe is now unraveling one of the most sophisticated radicalization networks seen in recent years. Investigators say that the entire module of doctors turned terrorists was radicalized through encrypted Telegram groups and guided remotely by Pakistan-based Jaish-e-Mohammed handlers. Now, it all began with two online groups, Farzandan-e-Darul and Umar bin Khattab, both reportedly operated from across the border. These channels served as virtual indoctrination grounds where religious and ideological messages gradually drew in educated Indian professionals. Dr. Umar Nabi, the bomber who died in the I-20 explosion near Red Fort, is believed to be the first to fall into the trap as per initial reports. Now, after being expelled from the hospital in Anantnag, Umar was drawn to these online groups. He came in contact with the radical cleric Imam Irfan Ahmad Wagah, a man who investigators say played a central role in converting doctors into foot soldiers. Now, the turning point came during the trip to Turkey, where Umar reportedly met handlers linked to the JEM. Once back in India, Umar joined Al-Falah Medical College in Faridabad and began recruiting like-minded professionals. That's where he found Dr. Muzammil Shakil and Dr. Adeel, both young, educated doctors who investigators say began with religiously debates on online platforms and only to be systematically brainwashed into supporting violent jihad. Encrypted apps and secret chats became their tools of coordination. After every meeting, they deleted call logs and messages to cover their tracks. Eventually, they began procuring chemicals and components used in the explosives. But the network extended beyond Faridabad. Now, in Lucknow, Dr. Shaheen Shahid and her brother, Dr. Parvez Said, were in fact self-radicalized through the same ecosystem of online propaganda. Officials say that they were not in touch with Pakistani handlers directly, but were deeply influenced by the extremist content. Shaheen's car was later used to move arms and ammunition. Her arrest had given agencies the first concrete link to the larger module. Her brother Parvez's laptop and phone seized from his residence are now being forensically examined for digital footprints. Now, as per the investigation so far, the evidence points towards Imam Irfan Wagah as the mastermind behind their ideological shift. Wagah is a former imam and a paramedical worker. He used his religious position to lure medical professionals toward radical ideologies. He was arrested today after the Red Fort blast following intelligence inputs from Kashmir's counter-intelligence wing. His wife too is under investigation for helping recruit young doctors and women into the network. Investigators now believe that this module was not just a cell, but a growing ecosystem, one where professional circles were systematically exploited for radicalization. DNA evidence, mobile tower data, and digital forensics have already linked Umar's remains to the I-20 car that exploded outside the Red Fort. The puzzle is now complete. From radicalization to recruitment, the execution of a chain of educated extremists driven by ideology, connected through encrypted platforms and caught through meticulous forensic work. In fact, to speak more on this, we are joined in by Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, Defense and Security expert, who joins us on this. Lieutenant General, the big question is, how does in fact radicalization work when it comes to doctors? They are supposed to be one of the most educated and also one of those who have the skills of analysis, but getting them radicalized to go ahead against the very idea of their profession, that is to save lives, to killing people.
Thank you. Good morning. I think it's very important if you see the two professions which come in close contact with human beings more often than anybody else. First, in this entire thing is a Maulvi who's addressing them every Friday and meeting, and most of them, every day they're remembering, and the Maulvi is guiding them all throughout their life, and of course, the entire way they wish to lead their life into. And the second are the doctors. Doctors, because they're constantly in touch with their patients, with their kind, and the more they get in touch with people, the more they realize that who are likely to incline into it. Now look at the whole thing. We've been talking about white collar radicalization, ideological indoctrination. Most of the time, what I have experienced it while serving with in the valley, I have realized that it was always these people were well off, were ideologically indoctrinated and radicalized and inclined for reasons. If you look at it in Kashmir, how many people have you seen begging? How many houses have you seen without electricity? How many houses have you seen without water? These are the three basic things which, and without houses, which, where in India do you find a state which ensures or gives or provides or is being provided entire everything? When we're talking about roti, kapra, makan, everything is being given to every Kashmiri in the valley it's concerned, and not just the valley, all across, wherever they are, see their houses. And therefore, it's very important. The root cause needs to be addressed for radicalization. What is it? And this ghetto tendency is very bad. I'll give you a very simple example. 258 of the Srinagar Valley students have done their medical from Pakistan, are awaiting their practicing because they can't practice until only they clear the examination. Out of the 178 medical students who have cleared for the government medical college Jammu, 112 are Hindus. Out of the 58 who have qualified for doing PG in the government medical college Srinagar, 56 are Muslims. Not that just because people say, well, Srinagar has Muslim population and therefore the majority is there. Well, the more Hindus. This is the time until unless you interact with one another. This is the government medical college. It is not a college of a particular, creed, religion, or anything like that. It's a government medical college. They must be mixed around until unless you meet people, you understand people, you talk to people, you when you meet and talk, you realize that everybody is good. There's nobody who's bad. But if you're into that toxic environment, which is only teaching you something which is radicalizing you, and yet another thing we need to look into it, Verghese, is that religion is personal. Anything that is religion must make you a good person. It must ensure accommodation, adjustment, taking everybody along, understanding the other's point of view. If a religion is taking you along a path which means I am the best and you are the worst, I think that's not a religion. Then that's something different. You need to understand, and people, now it's time for people. The Muslims themselves must come out openly that this is not what we stand for. We stand for love. We stand for peace. That's what Islam stands for. And if some amongst them are trying to use religion for radicalizing and bringing in bad name to the Muslims in India, I think it's something that the Muslims themselves now need to address this problem. And therefore, the citizenry is very, very important because radicalization is in the mind, indoctrination is in the mind. Now, if you and I are discussing this particular aspect, it is because we are exposed, we are educated, when we are able to discuss. You can understand my point of view. I must have the ability to understand your point of view. That's because we mix and meet. But if you're ghetto, that's what I said. Look at the medical college. Look at the way it is. It's not that I'm saying that why not. Spread them all across. Let people meet one another. If in a school, if you're only your own, you will have a problem. And particularly from the start itself. And what better country than India, where you have all kinds of people, all religions, everybody over here. We must ensure that in a particular class or anywhere that we are, we must be a mixed lot. Otherwise, this toxic environment that I am the best, it is I alone who will make the caliphate, the world will be like me. And that's what you find in Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan. What are they attempting to do? Ideological Sharia. And why are they contesting and fighting with the Pakistan security forces? Because they believe in, say, constitution, whichever way is what they wanted to believe, that they don't want the Sharia. And therefore, they clash. And hence, this radicalization, this mullahs have to be told. What will a mullah do? He will preach. That is his job. He will preach. But it is for us to understand that whether he is preaching right or wrong. And it is very important until and unless we ensure this root cause, this ideological indoctrination, this radicalization, which is starting at the lowest level, it has to be eliminated. We are all good human beings, and there can be no country better than India.